In this class, I'm going to show you how to become untrapped from having to rent a place and how to achieve home ownership sooner than you think. Even if you don't qualify to purchase right now, or you don't have a lot of money saved up, or you believe your credit prevents you from achieving home ownership, I'm going to show you how to eliminate those setbacks. All right. Let's see if it's going to change for me. Uh, uh, uh. Technical issues still trying to see if the screen will change. There we go. All right. By the end of this class, you'll know how to get approved, have the funds you need to purchase a home, and the credit score is required to qualify sooner than you think. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And for those who just joined me, my name is Yana Dela Paz. I am the founder of From Credit to Keys Roadmap of Home Ownership and Blue Jay Realty. I help homeowners turn their dreams into keys. All right. And I want this, like I said, if you heard me already, to be an interactive moment. So if you can turn your cameras on, if you can't, hey, don't stress it. Find that chat box for me and stack up those questions because at the end we're going to have a Q&A. All right. So let's just jump right into it. I want to know what's holding you back from achieving home ownership right now. Drop it in the chat for me. I want to know what is your thoughts. Try to make it one word or like two words at the most because I want to be able to read as many of them as possible. What's the main thing that you feel like it's holding you back? Okay, credit score, down payment, credit score. Okay, low credit score. Okay, a lot of credit scores. Okay, down payment. Hmm. Okay, got it. Yeah, this is common. Anxiety, I heard someone say anxiety in there. Oh, my fear. Yeah, okay. It is a scary feeling buying your first home. It is because you don't, especially if you don't understand the steps and what to expect. Financial credit. Okay. All right. Pretty much the same. I'm hearing a lot of the same things right now in the chat from what I see. Okay. All right. So I want to tell you guys something. Is it okay if I get a little personal for a moment? If it is, drop that in the chat for me. Is it okay if I get just a little personal with you? Because I want to let you know something. Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So this is old school picture of me, right? This is back when I was younger. Remember, we used to sit in front of the mirror and take a picture of yourself with the iPhone. This is before I had a selfie stick, right? Okay, all right. So when I was younger and just starting out, I lacked financial literacy, which means I did not understand credit. I didn't know how it worked or why it even matter. I've always been a go-getter and like a hard worker. And even at some points, I've had 2 to 3 jobs, literally just to make ends meet. I moved out of my parents' house when I was like 17 years old, thinking I could handle things on my own. But I quickly hit a harsh reality. I could not secure a place to live. Yes, yes, I was too young to sign a lease. I get that. But I also had no credit history, no proof that I could pay anyone, right? Thankfully, I had a car I bought in cash back then, all right, a year prior. And I lived in my car for several months while I figured things out. Eventually, I built up enough courage and asked a cousin of mine to co-sign for an apartment after my 18th birthday. Just to secure that place for myself, I end up having to pay 6 months of the rent upfront for a rundown place. Yes, it was at that moment sitting in that apartment, spending a huge chunk of my savings back then that it hit me. Credit is power. That realization sparked my journey. I began to be really determined to understand credit, like learn how to build it, never be in that situation again. And I ended up spending over a decade of my working career focused on like consumer debt collection, business credit, training teams on FDCPA and FCRA laws, which is just consumer and collection laws. And later, I end up getting my CBAs, which is a credit business associate with the National Association of Credit Management. So I know a little something, something when it comes to protecting your investment when it comes to finances. Through my struggles, I guess you can really say I became obsessed with consumer and business credit and how to invest in real estate. And that's why I teach others how to do the same because in reality, I feel like no one should really have to learn these lessons the hard way like I did. Okay. So this class is not about me, right? It really isn't, truthfully, I promise you. But more than anything, I wanted to share that journey so you can understand how did I get on this live tonight with you, right? And now I'm showing you the way. Okay. So the other day, I was reading one of my many real estate blogs I follow. That's part of being in real estate. You tend to follow a lot of blogs. And I saw a statistic. It stated that 63% of Americans are lacking financial literacy, which means that makes up two-thirds of our population. So, I mean, I fell in that category at one point, right? That means millions of us don't know how to manage the most basic operation of money and are lacking the understanding how credit works. All right, here's another one. Experian reported over 100 million Americans, which is close to 42% of our population, either have poor credit or no credit at all, which is limiting their access to mainstream financial products like a mortgage loan to achieve home ownership. JP Morgan Chase reported the number one reason for mortgage loan denials are because of underperforming credit profiles. Notice they did not state funds or money because they already know you can secure real estate with little to no money down. Quick history lesson. So, back in the 1960s, the big banks were doing some corrupted things. In 1977, the US government stepped in and they said enough is enough. They forced the big banks to start offering more favorable loan options in the communities where they were accepting deposits in. These programs tend to have lower interest rates and forgivable loan options, which is free money. Okay. So that's why Chase stated underperforming credit profiles and not funds because they already know there's plenty of programs, grants, incentives and rebates available to everyone. And if you're wondering what those programs are or who is funding these programs, here's a quick breakdown. You have your state and your local housing authority, you have community development financial institutions, federal home loan bank, your employers. A lot of times you have that in your benefit package, and a lot of people are not aware. Nonprofitable organizations, and like I stated, the banks. Yep, like NAC. Yes. Yep. Okay. And if interest rates is your concern, just keep in mind being caught up in the news about rates is a distraction. Seriously, it is. All investors know you marry the house and you date the rate. What does that mean? When you're trying when you're getting distracted, okay, when the distractions are happening from purchasing, that's because that's when all the deals are really out there and they are available to you, especially first time home buyers. You buy when prices are low because you have more room for negotiating the deals on in your favor and getting access to funds to assist with the home purchase. Okay. So, we revealed the number one reason that stops most of us from achieving home ownership right now, and that's directly connected to our credit profile. So, if you knew how to overcome credit issues, would you buy a house sooner? Drop it in the chat for me. Would you? Would you buy now if you knew how to do it right now? Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Got a lot of yeses. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. So let's discuss how to fix that then. Through my own credit plan development, I realized how to simplify the credit understanding process in order to teach others. I call this formula the Credit Clarity Approval Mastery Plan, which is made up of three major components. The first one is understanding what makes up your credit score. The second one is having an ongoing credit cleanup maintenance plan in place. And the third is having a credit management plan. I'll tell you the difference in a moment. So let's start with the basics by understanding what makes up your credit score rating. All right. 35% of your score is based on your payment history, meaning how you pay the debt you already are responsible for. This is why it's important to pay on time because that makes up most of your rating. 30% of your score is based on the amounts owed. This is why keeping your utilization low is important when it comes to revolving credit lines. 15% of your score is based on the age of the your credit history. All right. So, like how old it is, how new it is. Newer debt brings your score down. So, it's best to avoid applying for any new lines of credit when working on getting approved for a mortgage. And that's within like a few weeks, the past 30 days. Like, you don't want to do that. Then the last 20% of your credit score is equally divided out by the number of inquiries and the type of credit being used. So, what do I mean by that? Revolving credit and then installment payments. You want a healthy mixture of both on your credit profile. So, how many of you already knew this? Is this new information or are you already aware of this? This was new for me. Like, I had like, okay, you were aware, new. Okay, I'm getting some news. Okay, yeah. Yeah, see, I didn't know. But when I understood this, it made all the difference in the world with me being able to control what not just my Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian score was, but also my FICO score. Yeah, it is nice when you see the breakdown like this because you can understand what is the majority. So, what do you really need to focus on more than anything? All right. So, let's review which components are important when it comes to having a credit maintenance plan in place. So first, I recommend getting a good credit monitoring system that allows you to review all three major credit reports. You want any assistance with that? By the end of this, I'm gonna drop down my links of all of what I refer to, like with clients that work with me on different things to set up, like credit builders, credit monitoring systems, all of that. So you'll know exactly what you can utilize, okay, for this. But once you have that credit monitoring system set up, then you can jump into these steps. So the first step is you want to identify the collection and or charge off accounts if you have any. Make sure you validate these accounts first. That is key. That's what's important. Or then if you know it's your debt, if it's an issue, anything of that nature, you want to go into a dispute process where you say, okay, this is a discrepancy. I don't agree with it. We got to fix this issue. If you do know it's your debt, it's been validated, then you want to jump into a settlement. Okay, so we settle any old debt concerns. Now, this is vital, especially when we're trying to move forward on buying a home. Two, you want to remove any outdated personal information like incorrect spelled names, old last names, old addresses, old employment information. You may be like, why is that important? I'm going to tell you now. Anytime you apply for anything, it's just going through a computer database system and then it's spitting out a result for you. Okay. Anytime you have a bunch of old information on there, like incorrect spelled names, old last names for my ladies who get married or remarried type situation, old addresses, you've moved year after year, right? And you've been doing that for the last decade. So you have all these addresses reporting on there, or even old employment information. Old employment information, old addresses, that alone shows like you're not stable. And that can actually put you in like a high risk situation when that system spits out a result for you. Okay. So it's super important that you want to clean that information up because it doesn't fall off. Unlike inquiries, they fall off in 2 years. This information will stay out there. So it's important to get it removed. Three, create a plan to decrease your utilization to at least 10% or lower and try not to get any new inquiries at least a month or two prior to applying for any mortgage loans. Now, the reason why I say 10%, because I know rule of thumb, a lot of people hear 30%. When it comes time to buy a home, you want to be at 10% or lower. Trust me. Anytime you're higher than that, they're going to ask you to like pay off that debt before they can proceed with you. It's just been my experience working with clients on the real estate side. So it's important to keep that amount as low as possible. Four, you want to build or have a rebuild plan in place. I recommend 3 to 4 healthy trade lines reporting. For example, you can do like self reporting trade lines on bills you already pay, like your rent, for instance. Um, you can also do like a secure or unsecured credit card, whichever one works best for your situation, because I know everyone can't get an unsecured card. So if a secure card is what you have to do, meaning you got to put a little bit of money down in order to get that card, I recommend doing it, especially with a card holder that's going to report to all three of your credit reports. Or you can even look into a secure personal loan. So just like a secure credit card, same scenario, you're going to give the bank for that bank product a little bit of money down in order to have that personal loan that's reporting, right? If you're on a plan On the rebuild plan, you can also do this technique, and I use this often. You can get added as an authorized user to an already established credit card. This can be a huge benefit for you. Maybe you have a close relative who can assist you with this to help you build your credit up quicker, right? You usually want someone who's paying their bills on time. Key point there, they're paying their bills on time and they do not have a high utilization. Okay. The older that card is, the better. So keep that in mind because that's big for your history on your credit profile. So, are you finding this information helpful? Do you think with all of this in place, if you had this going right, is this doable for you? If so, drop a yes in the chat for me. Is this doable? Let me know. Yes, Tony said yes. Okay, thank you. Faye says yes, yes, yes. Okay. See, this is easy stuff. Yeah, we can definitely get this stuff going. Okay. And here's my last component. You need to have an ongoing credit management plan in place. Honestly, really throughout life, you need this. Like you should be looking at your credit report on a regular, seriously. Just to even check if your credit score is good and you don't have any concerns, and like you get to that point where like it's just you're real stable, you're paying a mortgage, and you know what credit cards you have due, and you're maintaining everything. It's still a good rule of thumb to check your credit report at least once a month. Identity theft is a real thing that happens often, right? You can have inquiries that popped up that has nothing to do with you at all, which can affect your credit score. So it's for life. Trust me, this is important. You want to always have a credit management plan in place so you know what's going on. All right. So here is some ideas I have for you that you can utilize. And I have tried all of this and they all work for me. So it's going to seem kind of like elementary, but trust me, this stuff is useful. So idea one, use your phone by setting up reminders to give you alerts to know when bills are due. All right. Hopefully this will stop you from getting any late payments because we've already identified late payments can really damage the credit report since 35% of your credit score is based on how you pay the debt that's on there. All right. You can create a tracker sheet as well too. If you do this, like you use Sheets or like an Excel program and you hop in there, I recommend like just putting all the important information you really need to know on the per sheet. So like the due date, you want to know the billing statement date, right? Those are two different dates, by the way. And then your utilization amount, that's a credit card. What percentage are you currently sitting in? Things of that nature you want to track. Keep in mind too, what I'm talking about right now in this idea, this is based on things that are reporting to your credit report. I don't mean like the bills that's not there. The bills that are reporting, you want to be able to track this, okay? Because that's what's affecting your credit score. Second idea, setting up auto pay for at least the minimum payments that are due. This technique works wonders. Okay. You can also make an additional payment if you want to, but this way, at least you know you never missed the payment. So, say your minimum payment is $20. All right. At least have that set up to go like immediately, right? And then you can go back in there before the month ends and pay the difference or pay the remaining balance or whatever it is that you want to take care of to make sure you bring that balance down. And then my last idea, I recommend getting a coach, a mentor. This could be someone that you pay, or this could be a relative that's already mastered managing their own credit. Keyword there was mastered. Okay. Um, if you do go that route, you want someone who can really teach you how to build your credit too, because that's super important. Or you can join a group where you can learn because this is really the best way I feel like to get you accountable and maintaining a healthy credit profile until you get it. Because once you get it, you got it, right? And then you can just go on about your way and maintain it for the rest of your life. Now, if you've had all of this in place already, do you think you'll be achieving home ownership right now? If all of this was like going for you right now, you had your maintenance plan, you had your management plan, right? You knew how to just keep it going and maintaining all of it, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. I think you would too. I do too. Typically, this right here, this when you know your credit score is healthy, and that would never be a setback again for you because you're paying attention to it. Okay. And if you we're wondering, here is some of the minimum credit score requirements for the most common mortgage loans right now. As you can see, for like a mortgage FICO score of just a 580, that's really all you need to qualify for 3 out of 4 of these loans referenced here, right? That is doable. That is very doable. A 580. That's it. Okay. So, oh, hold on one second. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's review a couple. I'm going to show you some success stories if they'll pop up. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's review some success stories of some people who have actually used the Credit Clarity Approval Mastery Plan. The first one here you see, this is a client by the name of David. David, he is a local police officer. I'm going to say firefighter. He's a local police officer here in Indianapolis. And he is by far one of my like champs when it comes to dealing with student loan debt. David came to me, um, and he had like old federal student loans that was just weighing his score down. And with his report, I've seen so many errors. It was like over 99 late payments reporting on the student loan. And I was like, what is going on here, David? Like, fill me in. Like, what happened? He broke it down to me and he was like, back in the day, I did Century 21 scholars and everything was supposed to be paid for, but something went wrong in the billing side at the school I went to, and they left all of this balance for me. And I kept telling them I didn't owe anything. I was like, okay, well, you can say it, but we need to back it up, right? So after disputing it, and I mean, he had like over 14 years. So if you have student loan debt, if it's federal, keep in mind it never goes away. There is no such thing as statute of limitation. It's not going to just magically disappear. It's going to stay on there, right? I spent several months disputing this. When I first started in March, that bottom number, that 541 TransUnion credit score is where he sat. In June of last month, when I pulled his scores and everything got finally deleted off of there about the student loan past due payments, his score jumped up a total of 147 points. He was at a 688. Okay. He is currently right now, him and his wife are pending on their very first home. So they are right now working on achieving home ownership. We should be closing in 3 weeks, 3 weeks on his home. So that is David's situation. And then he also qualified for a $10,000 grant, which is forgivable money. Yes. So they don't have to pay that back to nobody. All right. Success story number 2, Miss Tammy. So her situation was she filed for bankruptcy. Her bankruptcy, if any of you are on here and you've dealt with bankruptcy, you know you have like a cleanup process. Hopefully you do know this. So when you first file, you have like a letter that goes out to everyone on your credit report. I think it's called the letter of creditors, if I'm not mistaken. They send that out and they notify that you got an active bankruptcy going on. So any collection process, anything, like they can't collect on anything. So your account goes on a freeze at that moment until you either get discharge happens, right? In your situation. So once the discharge happens, then you know if that debt's removed or not based on the judgment. Well, what happens a lot of times is it doesn't clear up on the credit report. It went into a freeze moment, but that balance can still be open. You can still have reporting past dues or charge offs hitting every single month. And that's exactly what happened to Miss Tammy. When I got to her report in February, I could not believe the amount of things it was still actively reporting. And we end up spending several months of just really working together and cleaning it up. When it was all said and done, we were able to get 46 accounts deleted off of her report. 46 accounts deleted. These were her last scores. So in June that you see across here right now. She is just like 4 days away. We should be closing, I think, on Monday on her first home. Her biggest thing was she just wanted to create generational wealth for her kids. She's also qualified for a grant, a $10,000 grant that she's utilizing forgivable money again that's helping her achieve home ownership. All right. And then this one here, I just kind of put in because I try to keep it as recent as possible, so I don't want it to be old information I'm sharing with you, like newer information. You see at the top the $20,000 one. So the $20,000 grant, this was a federal grant. forgivable money as well too, free money, however you wanna say it, for a client by the name of Daryl. He older gentleman, never bought a home before, first time home buyer, and he was like, "Okay, I'm getting close to retirement age. I'm ready to buy something." And he was like, "I just don't wanna pull a bunch of my money out or take it out of my 401k account like that." I was like, "Well, let's look into options to getting you some funds." After looking around, shopping, knowing his credit was in shape, all of that, we were able to get him qualified for a $20,000 loan so he can I'm sorry, a $20,000 grant, which was forgivable money, so he can qualify for a home. In the middle, you have Miss Angela, same type of situation. She's getting closer to retirement age, been working in the insurance business for some time, never bought a home, just wanted to leave something for her family. When it was all said and done, she's like, I want to invest in real estate. Once she got qualified, she got approved for a $10,000 grant as well, too, which was forgivable money. And then my last one, this is my champ. Like, Warren is the champ right now because he got the $25,000 grant, which is forgivable money too in his situation. First time home buyer, family guy, just wanted to get something nice for his family. And when he got qualified, he was just like, I can't believe this. Like, I really don't have to give this back to nobody. I'm like, no, nobody. Like, this is yours, right? So I just want you to know it is possible. It is options out here, and there are plenty of programs. There are plenty of grants, incentives, rebates that are available to help you achieve home ownership. Okay. So don't let funds be that thing that's like holding you back in your mind. We're not going to let the credit stop us, right? Because we understand what we can do there. And we're not going to let funds stop us either because we understand there is so many programs available, especially for first time home buyers.